Hey Bronx, it's me, Mr. Williams, just prepping up for a tuna trip tomorrow morning. Super excited, not going to get much sleep tonight, and just want to show you a little bit of my gear that I use as I go out. I'm a little old school. I use some fairly, non-traditional gear. When I go tuna fishing, a lot of people spend a tremendous amount of money on rods and reels and whatnot, but I really kind of keep it low end. I use 7-foot Tiger ugly sticks. It's a Shakespeare rod. They've been around a long time. They're super inexpensive, and I couple that with an old pin Jigmaster reel. This particular reel I bought off eBay probably about 10 years ago for $25. Just in the off season, I'll rebuild or work on the reels to make sure that it's still working just fine. Some people will pay $250 to $300 for a good tuna reel, and they have some fantastic advantages to go really high end like that, but these work just fine. Some of the gear that I'll be using tomorrow, it's September. Tuna sometimes late in the year, late in the summertime, will bite differently late as compared to early on in the year. So I'm really not sure what they're going to bite tomorrow. Nobody's been out for quite a while, so I'm really going to mix it up. I'll start out on this particular rod. I've got a real traditional swim bait. It's just a 2.5 ounce lead-headed jig with about a 5.5 inch little rubbery doodad, and it typically catches fish really well. So I troll with 5 rods, and you'll see that tomorrow when I have the boat going. But like I said, I'm really going to mix it up with what I use. This is just a real hard lure. It's a Halco. Has kind of a cool little rattle to it as it's trolling through the water. It's just typically right underneath the surface, probably about no more than 6 inches, and it just wiggles like a wounded bait fish. And it's got 2 very sticky sharp treble hooks, which actually kind of makes some things somewhat dangerous as you're trolling, because you're going really fast, and if those pop out of the water and come flying at you, you've got to be really careful to not catch one somewhere where it's kind of dangerous. Another rod that I have going, it's just going to be another swim bait. I really like this color. This is a dark purple, kind of a killer purple haze, some people refer to as. But this, I think of during all my years of tuna fishing, this has been kind of my go-to, regardless of the time of the year, regardless of the time of the day. This will probably be on this rod all day long tomorrow, and I'm guessing it'll probably catch the biggest fish. Another kind of lure that I like to use are a couple of diving plugs. This is called an X-Wrap Magnum, made by Rapala. What's interesting is these are made, I want to say in Newfoundland or Canada. I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure where, so forgive me for that. But they're made for muskies up in the north. And tuna fishermen have figured out that, hey, these really work well for tuna. And again, they look like a wounded bait fish, but instead of being underneath the surface by about 6 inches, this particular X-Wrap will dive down to 15 feet if I'm going super fast. But my trolling speed between 6 and 8 miles an hour, this will probably be down about 10 feet under the surface. And it just wobbles back and forth again, mimicking a type of wounded bait fish. And then again, I've got another X-Wrap Magnum I'll be trolling around, and this is a cute little color, pink. Pink is always a good color, especially later in the day as the sun hits the water, but sometimes I've used pink right off the bat and had some pretty good luck. So that's the spread for the morning. I'll be up bright and early. This is going to be one of those nights where I don't get a lot of sleep because I need to get some things ready in the boat, make sure I've got enough fuel, make sure I have enough ice ready to go, and just with the excitement of getting up early and chasing something that's really cool, I'm not going to sleep that well. So we'll catch up with you in the morning. Hey Bronx, I'm about 15 miles offshore right now. Actually had to really turn around, and I'm heading back for shore. Kind of abort mission on this tuna trip. My buddy boat ended up hitting a big mola, and a mola is a big sunfish. They can weigh up to about 1,000 pounds. I don't think the one he hit was that big, but when he hit it, it did some damage to the lower end of his motor. And just as a preventative measure, we're going to go back in. So typically don't ever run alone. When I go out tuna fishing, I always run with at least one other boat or a pack of boats, It's super foggy today. Otherwise, I would likely continue on, kind of meet up with another group of boats and let him limp in. But I'm going to stay with him. Visibility is really poor. It's only about 200 yards or so off the bow, and because of that, just for safety purposes, I'm going to limp with him. Going about 8 miles an hour. On the run out, we were going over 25 miles an hour on a really flat, nice, greasy ocean, and not so much on the way back. So his boat's doing what he can to get in. If he has any other issues or his motor kind of gives up the ghost, so to speak, we have a big long tow line and I'll end up towing him in. So I'll make a big turn, see if you can see. Actually do it here. This is my friend Jeff. His boat's aptly named the Twilight Zone. It's a 22-foot dory, very similar to the boat that I have and run with as well. So sometimes fishing just doesn't happen. So safety first when you're out on the ocean, and this is one of those times where we're going to observe that rule and make the best of it and just look forward for that next opportunity to get out. Got some